All right, Scott, I even had my hand up just in case. Uh, yeah, anyway, Scott, after the grind of the Big 12, I guess, is this maybe a bit of a breath of fresh air for you? And what do you see from the Gauchos?
Well, the Gauchos obviously are a really good team, well coached, and anytime you win as many games as them, you know you've had a great year. Anyone in this field can win and can advance. So give me 5 hours to watch 3 films, and then I give you more information on that. But I can tell you right now, we're excited about Denver. We're excited about postseason. Everyone, there's 363 schools, more parity than there's ever been. It's such a blessing to be able to be in the NCAA tournament. And I know I tweeted out what these guys have accomplished, and truly it's a tremendous year. Anytime you're the 9th overall seed in an NCAA tournament, that's a lot to be proud of. Coming off 2 losses, we want to get that taste out of our mouth, want to get back to playing and hopefully winning. But at the same time, it's the NCAA tournament. It's win or go home. So excited. We have a couple more days of practice to get better.
All right,
Thanks,
Eric
Scott.
Kelly, next.
Yeah, Coach, you talked about getting that sour taste out of your mouth after Kansas City. Since that loss to Iowa State, what have the past couple of days been like in terms of what you guys are trying to address with your team ahead of this postseason?
Well, obviously we got out rebounded 44-17. So that's been a big point of emphasis. And most of all, that's something that hadn't happened all year long. So you'd worry if that's something that you had happen multiple games. But at the same time, the great thing is we did a lot of other good things in the game. Our first shot defense was 38%. Our offense operated at a real high clip. And for the first 2 times we played Iowa State, it didn't. We had great energy and team chemistry on the bench and everything. So really, we're just making sure that we're doing a better job blocking out, being more physical and more aggressive to 50-50 balls. And that's something we can work on all week to make sure we're ready for that area.
All right, Michael Haig, you're up next.
Hey, Scott. I was just going to ask you, with Keontae winning Big 12 Freshman of the Year, and then with Dariana winning it for the women, just what does that say about the youth of these 2 programs right now?
I think Baylor's done a great job of attracting highly talented players, and we've had back-to-back top 10 picks, and Keontae's somebody that his accolades and what he's accomplished this year put him on that same type of track. So good recruits want to go play at places where other good recruits have done well. So that's definitely an advantage for Baylor. And the women have had some of the best players in basketball history in college, and they'll continue to do that. Nikki's a great coach and a great recruiter.
Matt
Thanks,
Lyman.
Scott.
Thanks.
Hey, Scott. Obviously, Adam finished out that game, but how is there kind of an update on his ankle? And then are you expecting to have Langston back by the start of this tournament?
Yeah, Langston sees the doctor tomorrow, and hopefully that's good news. As far as Adam, he's been practicing, and so I mean, guys that are in leadership roles and have been in college as long as him, they're not missing these opportunities. I promise you that.
Let's go to John Titel.
Good evening, Coach. There's actually 2 Coach Drews in Denver, so I was curious, have you and Bryce ever coached in the same gym on the same day? And since you beat Gonzaga in December, are you going to give me tips?
Yeah, great question. So the first thing is, yes, we've scrimmaged each other when he was at Vanderbilt. So and my dad was able to be there. We got a waiver so he could watch. I don't know who he was rooting for, but anyway, it is a blessing to be able to be in the same area. The other thing is, Coach Hughes a heck of a pickleball player. So I think we might have a game with me, my brother, dad, and him. So as long as Mark's my partner, we're good.
All right, Andrew Miner, you're up next.
Yeah, hey coach, congrats on making the tournament. Was curious, what have you done to address the physicality of going after loose balls, playing inside, rebounding in the past couple practices to make sure that everybody's dialed in for the
Yeah.
NCAA tournament?
The great thing is, as a coach, we always say you can learn from someone else's mistakes, which is better than learning from your own. Since we learned from our own mistake, we got a lot of proud players, proud coaches, and no one liked that feeling of being embarrassed on the glass. So that I use it to touching a stove. Sometimes you touch a stove, you get your finger burned. Those people are a lot more cautious and careful around that stove than someone that just hears it's hot. So again, we haven't been embarrassed like that all season on the glass. So, but at the same time, you can imagine that we've had some physical spirited practices before our next game, what we've done and what we will continue to do.
Thank you.
Pearson L, you're up next.
Hey coach, congrats on making the tournament. You guys have a lot of people from that 2021 team, and that's obviously the gold standard of what you want to get from this tournament. What things have you learned from those past 2 years, and what do you apply to this group to now?
Well, I think with us, it goes back to our first tournament in 2008, and probably the Sweet 16 in 1998 for me with my brother hitting that shot to beat Ole Miss, and tournament games before that. So I mean, you use all your Sweet 16, your Elite Eight, your first round games weren't successful, and you try to put all that in the memory bank and improve and not make same mistakes and then repeat success. With that, the best thing I can tell you is we have players that played on that national championship team, so they know what it takes to win a national championship. And it starts with player-led team and player leadership. And Flo and Adam have done a great job. John has done a great job. And I know those guys will continue. And it's a greater sense of urgency, but just dealing with the distractions, the pressure that come along with the NCAA tournament. As far as coaches in particular, we like routines. So practices we did and practice plans we did where we were successful, we do the same thing. Practice plans where we weren't successful, we change up. So you're constantly trying to duplicate what worked and reinvent what didn't work and find better ways to do things. So that's what we'll continue to do. I think it'll be the only year that the NCAA tournament hopefully is played in a COVID bubble. So if it ever has that situation again, we have the blueprint for that.
All right, Eric Kelly.
Coach, I'm curious, have you guys played in an area this season that's kind of like Denver in terms of the altitude, and how do you deal with maybe a unique adjustment that maybe you won't get in other NCAA tournaments?
That's a great question. The good thing is we've had coaches that have and trainers that I mean, we call around, find out what people suggest, recommend in altitude, and then take that information and implement it in what we're going to do practice wise, recovery wise, to make sure we're putting our guys in the best position to be successful with that. Great question.
All right, go back to John Warner.
Scott, just the South region, what do you see there? You obviously got the #1 overall seed, just kind of in general, the strength of it.
Well, I think every region's tough, and probably everybody thinks their region's the toughest. And I know that right now, the first thing was I'm really excited that we're in the NCAA tournament. We had the year we did, and I'm really blessed and pleased that we weren't playing Grand Canyon. And at the same time, we were able to be in the same site as them. So besides that part of it, our first game, and then our immediate 2-team tournament, that's all we will focus on. That's all we will look at. And it's, as we know, you lose one, you go home. So the broad scope of things aren't really important. Really, it's Friday at 11:30. That game's the only one that matters.
All right, one last question. We'll go back to Michael.
Yeah, sorry, just real quick, Scott, obviously probably good news to, or I'm sorry, probably feels good to know that the prayers were answered with Coach Self, to know that he's gonna be back on the sidelines.
Yeah, amen to that. Really excited to hear he's out doing well. Talked to one of their assistants to get an update today, and I know he's been in everyone's thoughts and prayers.
Thanks, Scott.
All right. Thank you, guys. We appreciate y'all.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.